Hey guys, it's Rogway here, and we're moving right along in our web design unit or a playlist of videos, I should say. And when we left off in the last one, we were looking at text, how to add text, how to modify text, how to make text look better, somewhat. But if you look at this site, it is still really boring, still really generic. I would say this is like how some of the really early websites would have looked. We don't have much in the way of graphics or any sort of images or anything like that. So in this one, we're going to get into some videos. We're going to get into some colors, images, videos, and we're also going to look at links. So we're actually going to be linking to other files as well. Could also be linking to other places on the web as well, and we'll talk more about that. But we're going to build off this file that we had from before. And what I'm using here is a folder of images that has images inside of them. And you'll see that inside here there is a background, there is a screenshot, and there is a logo. And these are all related to the greatest game ever made, which is Skyrim. I'm sure opinions would vary on that. But also inside of here, I have another HTML file, and this is called another page. So let's pretend this is another page that you would go to, like let's say a photo gallery page or something along those lines. That could be another page. So that is all in there. The only thing that's missing from this folder is our index file that we had created earlier. So what we're going to do is we are going to go and hit File, Save As. And we're going to find that folder on our computer for that folder, folder of images. Okay, so you can see here we got the other page and we got the images. So this is where we want the index to basically save. Is inside of this folder. We're going to hit Save. It's going to ask us if we want to update the links. We're going to say yeah, but there's not really any links to update, to be honest, so it's okay. All right, so let's get started. Let's first of all look at color. Color is an interesting thing that we can do to whatever we have on here, whether it's our text or our backgrounds or whatever. So let's look at modifying the color of the text. All right, so remember before we added these attributes for size and for the face of the font. So we're going to go right after that and we're going to put another space. This is another attribute. And we are going to spell out color. And this is the American spelling way, C-O-L-O-R. And then we're going to put equals, and we're going to put a color in there. Quotations, we're going to put, let's say, red. And you'll see that the HTML is smart enough, the browser is smart enough to understand what red means. Okay, so we can change that to blue, for example. It's going to do a blue font. If we put even like light blue, it will know what we're trying to do for the most part. But let's say we wanted a custom color. Let's say a color that is not easily described. So let's actually just wipe this out completely. Start with a new quotation. You will see you have the option of going into the color picker. And so when we click the color picker, we're actually going to get a palette similar to the one that we know in Photoshop. And we can actually pick a custom color. And you notice that as we're doing this, the numbers and letters down here change. And those are called hexadecimal numbers, okay, hex numbers. And they're one of the most common ways to set colors on the internet. So as we adjust the color, it changes. So I'm going to pick a purple, and whenever we click off of this, it will insert that hex color in here and the font will change to that color. So pretty easy. Let's say we want to change the generic white background, which again is very old school looking. We are going to go into the body tag for this one. And if you remember back from the last tutorial, the body is everything that we see for the website. So anything between the two is what we're going to see. So it just makes sense that the background color would be an attribute of the body tag. So if we put a space in here, we're going to put BG color equals, and let's just put a color in there. I'm going to put gray. And you'll notice that the background will change. Okay, so once again, we can put any color. We can put red. It's going to go, oh, that's really horrible to look at. So I'm going to go back to gray. But yeah, you can put your colors in there and they're going to change. So colors are an easy way to make your site look a little more flashy, a little bit better, maybe sometimes easier to read. Who knows why you'd want to use colors, but I mean, why not? However, even with colors, we still have really basic looking website here. It's really basic. So oftentimes you're going to want to use images. Oftentimes you're going to want to use pictures to sort of spice up your website to make it look more interesting. For example, let's say we wanted to add the Skyrim logo above the text that says this is some text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go after the center tag, because we do want the logo in this case to be centered. We're going to put a space there, just like that. And we're going to use a new tag here. And this one's a little weird, and I'm going to explain how it works. We're going to put a tag called IMG. It's short for image. Okay, and then we're going to put a space, and we need to tell it which image that we want to use. So we're going to put SRC, which is short for source, and then we're going to press equals. And if you put your index file in the correct spot, you will get this little pop-up that says images. So it knows that in the folder where index is right now, there's a folder called images, and there's going to be pictures inside there. So if we click that, we will be able to choose the one that we want. So in this case, Skyrim logo, and we're going to close our tag. And you're going to see that this massive, literally massive, friggin' huge logo takes over our entire window. Now the reason that happens is because by default, the picture is going to come in at whatever size it was built at. So if it was built really massive, it's going to become really huge when we put it in. So we can add another attribute after the picture. So we can put a space, and we could put a width attribute. So we can say width equals, and let's say 300 in there. And now you'll see it's at a much more manageable size. All right, this number here is based on pixels. So the width you put in here will be based on how many pixels wide you want it to be. And it will automatically adjust the height so that it's proportional. You can adjust height separately if you wanted to, but generally you only need one, and that will work. All right, so just as a test to see if you understand how to do this, what I want you guys to do is to pause the video shortly and put the screenshot picture below the logo at a width of 500. Okay, see if you can figure it out. So what I want you to do, like I said, pause the video at this point right now and see if you could put the screenshot image in after the logo, and then unpause and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, we're back. Here's how to do it. First of all, you need to put a break, a BR. Because remember, you can't just put things on the next line. You have to tell it to go to the next line. So we're going to put a break. Then we're going to put image source equals. I'm going to go to my images. I'm going to find the screenshot. And I'm going to put a width equal to 500. And I'm going to close my tag. And now you're going to see magically that picture, that screenshot shows up underneath the heading. So now we've got our screenshot and our logo, and this page is starting to look a little bit better. Watch what happens if we don't have our break. If we take the break out, let me just cut it out. By default, HTML is going to want to stack everything up next to each other. So that's why you need the break to move things down to the next line, even images in this case. Next thing we might want to do is we might want to have an actual picture in the background rather than just a gray background. So in order to do that, we're going to go back into our body tag, and we are going to put something before the color. And that attribute is background. Background is used for images. BG color is used for colors. So background, make sure you spell ground, not round. That's a common mistake. We're going to hit equals. We're once again going to browse to our images, and we are going to choose the background image. And now you will see that the background of our page is covered with this beautiful picture, this beautiful scene from the game, and it looks pretty good. It's starting to really come together. We are developing a page now that looks pretty good. It's starting to look nice. One thing I want to mention about the Skyrim logo is it is a PNG. If you ever want transparency in your images, always choose PNG. It's probably the most recognized format. There's also GIF. You could use that too. But like I said, if you want transparency, PNG is the way to go. Now let's say we wanted to put a video in here of some gameplay from the game. Maybe we recorded ourselves playing and we want to post it on this page. It's a fan page or whatever. Easy to do. We're going to open up a browser and I'm going to make a new tab. And I'm going to actually go to YouTube. And I'm going to go to Skyrim gameplay. And I'm going to find a video. And in this case, it's this 12-hour one that I'm going to choose from Loopy Long Plays. I'm going to click it to go as if I was going to be watching the video. Now, if you're on social media, if you're on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever you use, including YouTube, you're going to see a share button. Okay, and no different here. YouTube has a share button. If I click that, the very first option is the embed option. And the embed option is how you actually get it to go on a website. So if I click that, you'll see it's going to create this giant sort of block of code. And I don't know why, maybe because my screen is too small, but let me just try shrinking it a little bit, see if yeah, there we go. You're going to see a copy option. Okay, and the copy option will allow you to copy this code that Google has generated and put it into your website. So if I head back over to Dreamweaver after I copy that, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to decide where I want this video to go. I guess after the screenshot would be a good spot. So I'm going to first of all, remember, put a BR and then paste it in. And now you should see, if you scroll down, that we have this player here that it says you can't play the video, but it has the spot for it. Now, the reason the video will not play within Dreamweaver is because Dreamweaver's browser is not a completely fully fledged browser. It is more of like a preview of a browser, but I promise you it's going to work when we actually test this in the browser afterwards. Okay? All right, so that's video and images. Last thing I want to cover here before we're done, what if we want to go to another page? Now, if you're building a website and you want to have multiple pages like photo gallery, maybe creatures, artwork, all these different sections, you're going to want to have separate pages. Now, each page is going to be its own HTML file. So in this folder, I have one made. It's called another page. It's just a generic name for another page that we can go to. If we want to link our website to that page, we have to use a tag that, I'll be honest, may not make a whole heck of a lot of sense, but trust me, it works. So we're going to go after the logo. We're going to put a button here for people to go to that page. So how do we do that? We're going to open up a tag called an A tag. A stands for anchor. Again, doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, but you're going to hit space and you're going to put href, which is short for hyperlink reference. You're going to put equals and then quotations, and now you have a choice. You could paste a URL from the actual web that it can go to, or in this case, we're just going to pick the file that I already have in the folder called another page. And then we're going to close it. Now, we won't actually see anything change. Okay, even though technically it is under this logo, we don't see anything happen. The way that A tags work is whatever they surround becomes a button. All right, and whatever, like whoever clicks that button, this is where they're going to end up. This is where they're going to go. So for example, if I take the ending of this A tag and I just cut it and I put it around the screenshot image, I put it over here, now you'll notice that the screenshot button has a hand that I can actually click if I wanted to go to that page. All right, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually take that out. And I'm going to show you just some simple text. So in between the A tag, whoops, I'm going to put this is a button to another page. And you'll notice that we don't actually see it, okay, because what it's trying to do is it's trying to shove it next to the screenshot. So we need to put a break, all right, like that. And now we're going to see it is actually under the logo. We could actually put 2 breaks there to look a little better. Got a space, okay? And you'll notice now that we have a button that now goes to the other page. Now, one thing I want to mention is that buttons don't have to be text. They could be pictures, they could be PNGs, they could be anything you want. So you can create your buttons in Photoshop, for example, and then you can link them up to wherever you want afterwards, and they should work. Another cool thing about A tags is it doesn't care what you put in between them. Whatever you put in between will become a button, like I said. So in this case, if we want the text to look better, we could use a font tag. And we can do exactly what we did prior, where we could change the size or the face, or we could do whatever we want, change the color. Let's say we want it to be Helvetica. And it's still going to work. All right, you see now it's Helvetica, and you know it still looks, it still works because it's between the A tag that starts here and closes here. All right, like I said, it's a little tricky, but once you understand what it's doing, it just makes sense. All right, last thing I wanted to show you. We're going to save this. Okay, first of all, the last thing I want to show you is how it would look in an actual browser. Now, for some of you down here at the bottom right, if you see where my mouse is down here, there's a little preview button, and it'll ask you which browser do you want to view it in. So you can actually click Chrome, and you'll actually be able to get a nice preview of what that page looks like in Chrome. And everything should work now. The video will work. You can watch it. Oops, I don't want no sound. The link will work. It'll go to the other page. That's the page that I had built. And everything works. All right, and you can see how it would actually look in a browser window. All right, so that's where I'm going to leave it today. As you can see, they are starting to look a little bit better. You now know how to do images and videos and all sorts of good stuff. Links, very, very important. That's kind of the I guess you can say the base of the entire internet is hyperlinks. So knowing how to make those is very, very important. All right. In the next video, we're going to look at tables, and we're gonna carry on. It gets a little more advanced, so stay tuned for that.